This is the Al-Maida Initiative, conversation without compromise.
All of this bloodshed in 1991, one decision to end the war. And of course, the end of the war happened by the president of today, who is Michel Aoun, fleeing to France. And yeah, I don't want to talk about that part, but all that bloodshed, there was no reconciliation taking on. What they did, or the prime minister of Lebanon did back then, is that they focused on reconstruction. Like, oh, the downtown of Beirut is demolished. Let's reconstruct it. And reconstruction means nepotism, corruption, because means growing the empire of the prime minister. So everybody focused on reconstructing the infrastructure of Lebanon, and nobody was attentive to the most important detail: is how can you create reconciliation within those tensions between different communities of Lebanon? How can you strengthen your identity? How can you and not strengthen your identity? How can you recognize that you have an identity crisis in the beginning in order to say, hey, we have a problem. Let's work on our identity crisis. And I think until present moment, we did not face the question, and we are living the aftermath of not allowing ourselves to ask it.
Right. So essentially, there's a very complex human problem at play, and whenever a war ends, people just treat it like a financial problem, right? If we just have the right stuff, then life goes on, but it doesn't actually heal the wounds.
Well, I mean, he like, and also you need to know that the region I come from, which is Lebanon, Palestine, Syria, recently, and all this part of the Mediterranean, had always been in a continuous state of exception. So we built a certain, shield that is, hey, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. This we are used to this, and we reach a phase where what is the most important for us is to end the day and have food on the table, being able to educate our children, to make them leave at a certain moment and study abroad or work abroad. So this is the pattern that is continuously repeating itself and repeating itself and repeating itself. Of course, there was an exceptional moment in the history of Lebanon that was one of the exceptional moments, of course. I do not want to kind of romanticize it at the same time, is the moment of the 17th of October 2019. We called it revolution back then. Some people question the term of revolution now, but there was this kind of feeling. There was a unity among a group, a huge amount of Lebanese citizens all over Lebanon who agree that no more, we want the downfall of the regime, and the regime means all of them. And there was this kind of slogan in Arabic where they say "Killun yani killun," all of them means all of them. Of course, there are percentages of people who were against this, but I think this was a moment where we witnessed a considerable percentage of the Lebanese system that would trouble the dominating or the hegemony of a certain web of power structures. But then the pandemic took place, and then there were many mistakes happening here and there, and here and there, and here and there. And we need to be aware that this regime, this political elite, is like kind of extremely challenging to remove, because in a way it's not, you do not only have to address them, you also have to deal with the global politics. And I think that the global politics has an interest to keep this corrupt political elite in the system, in the Lebanese system.
Right, right. So I think often
Oh, I'm sorry.
so good. I think often the difficulty is not just removing a regime, but you've got to find something
Solution.
to replace it with. Otherwise, that just creates this vacuum, and maybe you remove the first level of leaders, but then the next level of leaders under them are the only people with sort of structural competence, so they come and just do the exact same things that we've done before.
Well, when the revolution erupted on the 17th of October, it was my 18th day here in Seattle. So I left Lebanon on the 28th of September. And I cannot assume whether the revolutionary groups, whether they offered solutions or they failed in offering solutions. I'm following up all the time, and like my couple of months, the last couple of months, I reduced. I didn't have enough time to follow up on what's going on, but I don't allow myself to say, oh, the revolutionary groups failed. They didn't provide a solution. We also need to be aware of a very, very, very important factors. We inherited as revolutionaries, because I align myself with all those who manifested dissent in Lebanon on the 17th of October. I align myself strongly with them. We cannot forget the fact that we inherited some behavioral patterns in a way from the political elite, which is like the feeling of us being, in a way or another, the only persons who can provide a solution, as one group versus the other.